Hello everyone and welcome to our online lecture series. Today we shall take a look at democratic politics and we shall delve into the first chapter, that is power sharing. Let me right at the onset tell you, my dear friends, what do you mean by power sharing? By power sharing here we simply mean distribution of power from governmental institutes to various other socio-economic powerful institutes in order to keep the checks and balances. What do you mean by checks and balances? My dear friends, we all know that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Therefore, it is very important to keep a check and a balance has to be created so that power is not used against people. That power is used only for constructive purposes and not for destructive purposes. History has been a testimony to this. History has been a proof that whenever power is concentrated in the hands of a few, it has led to a very catastrophic, very difficult times for people all around the world. The World War II was a very big example of that. Alright, let us quickly begin with this chapter. Now, this chapter starts with asking a very simple question. Let me elaborate that question and then step into the explanation of the chapter. I have a simple equation in mind: sharing power is equal to dividing power. And when you divide power, it is essentially weakening the country. Why do we start by talking of this? Now, this is a very important example over here, that when power is shared, that essentially means power reduces, and when power reduces, it essentially makes you weak. So, what is the counter of this? It is not necessarily that power weakens when it is shared. Actually, it becomes more accountable. That is the problem with this debate, that if you distribute power, it does not make you weak. Actually, it makes you more accountable. One can keep a watch on the other. Now, just let me give you a very simple example, right? That how decision making is also sometimes related to weakening of the country. Let us say that we are 15 people living in the family, and the head of the family asks everyone, where do you want to go for trips? Naturally, there will be 10 different places that people are going to suggest. Let's go to the beaches. Someone will say, I hate beaches, let's go to the mountains. Somebody will say, no, let's go to the museum, and everybody will be like, who goes to the museum for it? But that's what that person's liking is. So in order to accommodate everybody's view, the head of the family has to consider views of all and then select a place where most of the things that everybody wants to see are there, right? So like the car will go from the hills and then it will go to the beach, and while coming, the old people want to visit temples, so they will go to the temple. Young people want to spend one day in the amusement park. So in that fashion, the routes will be designed by the head of the family. Now, this would be a very democratic way of looking towards things. And then everybody will feel included. Nobody will feel excluded from the family trip. Similarly, when you have to run a government, my dear friends, you have to take into view, into consideration, you have to take into matter, you have to take into accountability all the opinions of the people living in the country. Otherwise, it will create problem. And it will be actually bad for the government if the minorities and the weaker sections are not with them. Otherwise, these weaker sections will retort to different nationalisms, different terrorist outfits will approach them, and they will hamper the growth of the nation. Now, in order to understand this concept, I hope I have made it clear through the example that how power sharing is actually beneficial. It's not like that power sharing goes against you. Actually, power sharing is very good in the long run. Belgium and Sri Lanka, these are the two examples in front of us. What different these two countries have done? Remember, now Belgium is a very small country. They have atrociously, in the first paragraph itself, made comparison between Belgium and Haryana. I don't know why they did this stupidity, but just to make you realize that how small Belgium is, area wise and population wise both. Alright, now the problem with Belgium is this: the ethnic composition of this small country is very complex. Of country's total population, 59% lives in the Flemish regions and speaks Dutch language. Other 40% live in the Wallonia region and speak French. Remaining 1% of the Belgians speak German. In the capital city Brussels, 80% people speak French while 20% are Dutch speaking. Now look at this concept map here. Look at this graph over here, graphical map, so to say. You will find a very complex issue with Belgium here. Now Belgium doesn't have any Hindu-Muslim kind of stuff like we have, but they have, let us say, language issues, differences with respect to linguistic categories. What are these differences? Towards the north, you will find people of Dutch origin, people speaking the Dutch language in domination, and in the south, you will find people speaking French with domination. A very minuscule, small amount of people speak German, but in the Brussels, it's totally opposite. In the entire country, Dutch-speaking people are majority, while as the French-speaking people are minority. But in Brussels, in the capital, French-speaking people are more and Dutch-speaking people are less. Now, the French community in Belgium is a very rich community. Therefore, they enjoy all education, they enjoy all education-related facilities, and their development has shooted. While as the Dutch-speaking people are, despite in population they are in majority, but with respect to development, they are pretty much behind. So in the 50s and 60s, these two communities, they fought against each other, they created a lot of havoc in the country, and this related to some problem solving tactics that Belgium applied. Now what were the solutions to these problems? I hope you have understood the problem of Belgium, what the country faced through, what were its problems. Now let us focus on the solutions that Belgium came in. Now between 1970 and 1993, in this 23 years, Belgium made 4 times changes in their country's constitution. And what were these changes? They tried to accommodate the voices of the minority as well, so that everyone feels that they are a part of the government, right? So, constitution prescribed that the number of Dutch and French speaking ministers shall be equal. If there are 100 ministers, 50 will be from the French origin, 50 will be from the Dutch origin, so that there would be no linguistic group will not be felt as if they are not a part of the country, right? And if you have to pass anything major laws, then you require the support of both linguistic groups. Thus, no single community can make decisions on their own, that is unilaterally. Many power of the central government have been given to state governments of the 2 regions of the country. The state governments are not subordinate to central government. Alright, so states have independent power. States in Belgium don't have to ask 10 times to their country head that whether we should make these changes or not, whether we should apply these packages or not to our people, whether we should make these economic decisions or not. They are given freedom, so that even if a French speaking person is at the center and a Dutch speaking person is at the head of the state, there is no problem at all, because the law gives power to both of them at their places. So they adopted a federal system of government. Brussels has a separate government in which both communities have equal representation. Now this is very strange. In Brussels, you found that French were majority and they were people who had a lot of money. But despite this, they took one step behind and they allowed everyone to be a part of the government, right? So the French speaking people accepted equal representation in Brussels, because the Dutch speaking community has accepted equal representation in the central government. Now you can see in this image over here, the European Parliament is based in Brussels. The European Union, its headquarters are in Brussels, and over here these people meet and they decide all rules for the Europe. Okay. Now the fourth thing that they came into agreement was, apart from central and state government, okay, there are third kind of government. This is called community government. Now this is very strange for us because in India we don't have this kind of system. What do you mean by community government? This government is elected by people belonging to one language community, that is the Dutch, French and German speaking. No matter where they live, this government has power regarding cultural education and related issues. Now from top, if we look as Indians, of course we find that this is very crazy. How can these people live in this fashion? Don't they have fights? अपने इधर जैसे हर एक दिन हिंदू मुस्लिम्स के ऊपर से कुछ ना कुछ होता है, वैसे बेल्जियम में नहीं होता है क्या? दिस इज़ द क्वेश्चन दैट माइट हैव कम इनटू योर माइंड सेवरल टाइम्स. बेल्जियम में होता है, बट दिस पीपल आर extremely educated and they put their country first, and they don't want any kind of stupid issues happening within them that will weaken their country. They understand this, and together, when you have to live together, you have to adjust, right? You must have heard this a million times, mostly from your parents. So when you have to live together, you have to make a lot of adjustments, right? So the Belgians live together, they understand the importance of equality, and then they have represented the minorities as well. Coming on to our neighbor Sri Lanka. Now what was the problem with Sri Lanka? In Sri Lanka you have two communities. You can see the major social groups are the Sinhala speaking 74% and Tamil speaking, that is 18% of people. Now, of course, from these numbers, you can decide, you can understand and decide for yourself that the Sinhala speakers are the ones who are in domination. They are in majority. These are the people who have control over Sri Lanka's resources. They are people who exercise their power on manufacturing, on industries, on automobile sectors and all these things. They have big businessmen from this community into politics as well. So naturally the Sri Lankan Tamils will feel that they are neglected, right? And there is a substantial Indian Tamil population as well. The rest whose forefathers came from India as plantation workers during colonial period are called Indian Tamils. Now you know Sri Lanka is famous for its tea, Ceylon tea. Ceylon, of course, the pre-colonial name of Sri Lanka, and a lot of Indians from Tamil Nadu were taken from by Britishers and put into Sri Lanka for plantation work, right? So what happened? Most of the Sinhala speakers are Buddhist, while most of the Tamil are Hindus or Muslims. There are about 7% Christians who are both Tamil and Sinhala. Now what happened in Sri Lanka is that one community became stronger and stronger and stronger, and the entire country's control came under them, and the other communities of course felt bad about this. So this led to chaos. The Sinhala community enjoyed an even bigger majority and could impose its will on the entire country. So over a period of around 20-25 years they dominated, and from 1990 enough was enough. The Tamils set up a terrorist organization called as LTTE. This is not in the textbook, but I am giving you some extra information here. Under the leadership of Vennupillai Prabhakaran, and in Jaffna Islands over here you can see their headquarters were set, and these people were very ferocious. If police or the military took a hold of them, they used to eat cyanide tablets which were tied to their wrist, and hence you could not get out any information from them. Who are they, which terrorist organization they come from, who is their head, what are their demands, nothing. They used to just rampantly they used to go into the cities, do all kind of terrorist activities like bomb blast, shooting people, suicide bombing, and they created havoc in Sri Lanka. Now, this is what I exactly refer to when you do not take care of minorities, when you do not give a damn about their rights, their issues, their voices. This is what happens. This is what happens. They try to disturb the economic flow of the country, and therefore, Sri Lanka, which was developing rapidly post independence, and it was enjoying the boom. That is the time when LTT came into existence and created a big kind of a civil war situation. Alright, you can see over here the distrust between the two communities turned into widespread conflict. It soon turned into a civil war. As a result, thousands of people of both the communities have been killed. Many families were forced to leave the country as refugees, and many lost their livelihoods. Right? So excellent record of Sri Lanka in terms of economy, in terms of finances, in terms of education, health. It was all turned to dust, and the country paused for a while. In 2009, eventually the Sri Lankan army, with the help of the other UN army and all, they killed Venupillai Prabhakaran. He was shot in an encounter, and then the organization became weak, right? Some people were still operating it, but its funds were frozen, and when the leader passed away, the organization also suffered a major defeat. Thus, Sri Lanka narrowly escaped, but they learned a lesson. What was the lesson? Minorities' voices should be respected. Alright. So these two situations and cases we saw where minorities, if in case of Belgium, if handled properly, doesn't lead to chaos. And in Sri Lanka, if you ignore it, it will come to bite you later. Now, why is power sharing desirable? I have answered this question right at the beginning. Power sharing is important because it lets you have a checks and balance system. It doesn't concentrate power into one powerful person's hand, and thus it makes democracy more transparent. Now let us come to the last point of discussion, that is forms of power sharing. How do power sharing is enabled in the country? Number one is power is shared among different organs of government in a horizontal fashion. Like in India, legislature has power to make laws, executive has the authority to implement the laws, and judiciary has the authority to punish the people from legislature and executive if they are found not doing their duties properly. Now, this horizontal distribution of power allows different organizations of government placed at the same level to exercise different powers. Such separation ensures that none of the organs, governmental organs of course, can exercise unlimited power. Each organ checks the other. This results in balance of power among various institutes. Right? Balance of power is important. If that doesn't happen, then people might become corrupt because they are too powerful. So this is the the horizontal distribution of powers. Number two, power can be shared among governments at different levels, right? Central government, state government, local government, mayor. In this fashion, when power is shared at different levels, nobody thinks that he has the rule over the entire nation. Even if Narendra Modi, or any for that matter the Prime Minister of India who sits in Delhi and rules, he doesn't feel that the entire country is under him. Why? Because in respective states we have chief ministers, right, and they exercise their power. So power is shared and distributed in different tiers. Number one, central. Number two, state government. Number three, our local mayor. And number four, the Panchayati Raj. Right. The constitutional amendments of 73 and 74, if I am not wrong, gave more powers to the local governments. Power may also be shared among different social groups. Now, social groups, linguistics groups, like we saw in the case of Belgium, They can also have an exercise power, right? Different women groups can assert power by pushing the government to make laws in order to accommodate more and more women into parliament. If we have more and more women into the parliament, we have representation of women in the parliament. That would make women feel that they are a part of the country. Why? Because 49% of India's population is women. Among the 130 crores, 49% we have women. So women should not feel that only men are ruling them. All right. So even from the minorities we have reservation. Why we have reservation? Because the minorities should feel that they are a part of the government. Otherwise, only powerful people with money, people from upper caste will come and represent in parliament. So we have reservations with respect to politics as well. The fourth point is power sharing arrangements can also be seen in the way political parties, pressure groups, and movements control or influence those in power. In a democracy, the citizens must have freedom to choose among various contenders for power. The opposition and the ruling government, both of them, should be kept on their toes. If the opposition is powerful, the ruling party will not take the country for granted. They will keep on asking questions and posing questions which will lead to people not voting them the next time, and the opposition party will come into power. When power rotates, that is the ideal situation. Not just one person or one party winning the elections all the time. This will lead to a more chaotic situation, right? Because if someone gets power all the time, he will feel that he is invincible. Nobody can defeat him, and that is the problem. That is the problem of dictators. All right. So social groups and all have to exercise control. They are called pressure groups also, which put pressure on government to perform. We are going to see more of that in the coming chapters. For now, I hope I've made this point very clear to you, that how power sharing operates, my dear friends. It's one of the most important and essential aspects of democracy. Without power sharing, you cannot expect the democracy to work. All right. For homework, I want you to do the exercises that are written over here. Find out the questions and its answers. Try to answer by yourself. Construct answers on different points, so that when in exams you will be able to write answers by yourself. This is what I expect from you. Right. Try to do writing for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Practice it every day, so that you are able to construct your wonderful answers in your exams. All right. Keep watching the video again and again in order to understand the concepts of power sharing. I am 100% sure the more time you hear to this, the concepts are going to be more solid and concrete for you to face exams. All right. Thank you, my dear students.